You can't get there from here, but you can always get here from there. I clearly remember when and where I first heard this axiom, as it was the opening sentence our moderator used to begin a 3-day design shop for our local school system. My first reaction was to ask, what's the difference? However, over time I've come to understand that it's easier to look back through hindsight and see success than look forward at the work to be done. It's a minor shift in perception, but a powerful one. Let's think about it. Plant a flag and look out to a goal 12 months into the future, and what do you see? We see things that must be done or overcome in order to accomplish that goal. But when we project ourselves at that point 12 months into the future as already being successful and look back, rather than seeing what must be done as obstacles, we now see them as having been accomplished. On the surface, yeah, it's a little bit of a twist, but one that's incredibly important when planning with your team. Their creativity and ideas will flow much easier when focusing more on what was done successfully rather than the limitations facing them, which is where the scenario comes in. Now, scenario planning has been around on the business scene since the 1970s and was pioneered by a team led by Henri de Guise. In The Art of the Long View, the author describes how de Guise's team first used scenario planning with Royal Dutch Shell during their strategic planning process in the 1970s. And during this process, many questions were asked, but the most important one of the day turned out to be a scene where the entire plan was ruined. They brainstormed unforeseen problems that could get in the way of Shell's success. And one scenario they discussed was an oil embargo by the Arab states, so they spent time preparing for that unlikely event. Well, history shows that the embargo indeed occurred, and they were the only oil company in the world prepared for it. And since that time, scenario planning has become a big part of business. Now, most of us don't have businesses on that global a scale, but we do need to look to the future and create our own scenario. And now that you know what a scenario is, let's build one for you. In order to prepare to write your scenario, we need to view your business at a point of success and describe what it looks like. If doing this in the middle of the year and you want it to coincide with your fiscal year, you can make it up to 18 months. But don't go any farther out than that with it. Remember, in order for your team to lock into a plan that will get you there, it has to be in bite-sized increments. Legs of the trip, right? So the scenario allows you to just keep it simple, to the point, and in the moment. Yes, you want to stretch a bit, but with realism. The first thing we do, grab the tactical scenario worksheet, and let's begin to list your key result areas. These are the critical success factors that determine a successful year. The examples are your products and services. Is there a change in the mix? Are you launching any new generations of them? Your locations. Are you opening any new ones? Are you closing any down? Financial goals. What's your annual revenue target? Marketing initiatives. What programs will you need to employ? Sales, numbers sold and dollars generated. And miscellaneous goals. Are there any other key results you want to achieve in the coming year? Remember, when doing this, just list the result and not spend time on detail, as we'll get into that a bit later. Your goal here is to paint a clear picture of what the business needs to accomplish and look like 1 year in the future. Next, you want to define your boundaries or your limitations, and this is where reality comes into your plan. What will remain constant? Where will you expand? What are your limiting factors? Staffing. Will there be an increase, a reduction? Stay the same. Competition. What are they doing? Are you having to protect territories, or are you taking ground from them? Workspace. Is it adequate enough? Do you need larger space? Do you need different space? Funding. Do you have enough, or will things be tight? You get the idea. Anything that limits or regulates future growth, you list them all here. And then there are the additional or miscellaneous factors to consider. Employee training. What skills do you and they need to develop in order to achieve your goals? Suppliers, vendors. Are they adequate? Do you need to negotiate any contracts? The marketplace. Is it changing, growing, contracting? There are probably other considerations that you want to take into account, but it's pretty much that simple. Just think of all you need to consider when writing your paragraphs, which is what we're going to do next. So take as much time as you need to list out all the factors that will drive and affect your growth. And we'll then write the scenario in the next video. I'll see you there.